Hello, good morning everyone. So today I thought I'd do a couple of quick builds with these two castings. So I've got a fantasy casting and a normal casting. So I've got a my brain's gone. Ford Maverick, which used to be called something else but I can't remember. And I've got this casting which is a pile driver, which is pretty cool. I've got this week. It's metal based plastic body, plastic interior, but cool. I've drilled them both apart already, and I've already sorted out what I'm going to put on them, so I'll quickly talk through that, and then I'm going to time lapse everything else and maybe pop in it now and again with a bit of talking, but it'll be pretty quiet from me just because there's no real need for me to talk unless there's something I'm doing that I need to explain. So the Maverick, it's a decent little casting. I quite like the paint, but it's getting the work like everything else will. So I'm really going to change one set of wheels, either the front or the back, to a slightly different set of wheels. I do that quite a lot just to change the look. Got a set of North Star, like Maxim style machine guns, and a Amble Industry blower, which I'm going to cut into the bonnet. So I cut into the bonnet, had the machine guns on the wings, cut these wing mirrors off. Change the wheels, mesh the windows, done dusted. I'll probably leave the side windows open, no crew, no nothing like that. Rough it all up with some files and some sandpaper, paint it. So we do all that on that one. That's an easy one. On the tail, pile driver. It's quite a cool little casting. I've not seen one of these before. I had one of these before, so it came up on Facebook. One of those buy a load of stuff, buy like cars individually pages, so I bought one, 99p a pound, something like that, so not too bad. A couple of things, I've got some off-road wheels I'm going to put in the back, should be nice, change it a bit. I've got a North Star Warboy figure. It's a driver. I've already test fitted it. It doesn't fit with this roll cage, so I'm going to have to cut this bar out, unfortunately. Then I've got a pair of Dice Mechanic Games machine gun barrels, which I want to stick in where the headlights are, so I'm going to drill them. Because I'm losing the headlights, and I fancy a set of headlights, I've got this 3D printed part from Kayams for Designs, which I'm going to add up here. There's a couple of lights. And then I've got a pair of rocket pods as well, which I'm going to put from Dice Mechanic, which I'm going to probably add up here on either side, I think, just to give it a slightly better arm. I'm not sure about the rocket pods yet because they might stick out too far and it might bug me, so it might just be machine guns. So yeah, that should be quite cool. I'm going to paint a figure as well, time lapse that as well, I think. What I do is I'll build each car individually on the time lapse and show it. I mean, yeah, we've explained before, I tend to chop and change between vehicles when the glue's drying. I'm nearly out of super glue activator as well, so that's a bit of a pain in the backside, so it might take a little bit longer, hence the time lapse rather than you watch me for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is. It won't be an hour to build. The Maverick will come together in very little time whatsoever. The pile driver might take a little bit longer to build because I'm going to probably have to cut his legs or bend the steering column, I'm not sure yet. But we'll definitely have to cut this front piece off the roll cage, which doesn't really matter. I thought about taking the roll cage out totally, but I actually quite like it. This piece here, when I cut it out, I may even move it back just to make it look more structurally rigid, to keep with it depending. I may cut it down and add 2 side bars just to change it, just to change the look slightly. But it's a cool little car. It's got a massive engine, which I like. See, that's the thing with the machine guns and looking at stuff. I was going to do wing machine guns, but they're a bit headlight machine guns could be cool. But then I quite like the headlights, but yeah, I'd chop out the headlights and fit these machine guns. What I might do is just cut them off with my saw. Handy, I've got my hobby saw out. So nothing too complicated. A couple of quick builds for a video. Just shut them in by our production line stuff. I mean, I've got in stages of paint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. I've got 13 13 cars in different stages of paint at the moment, drying or base coated. I've got 1 car waiting for primer. I've got my car of the month for Gaslands UK, the Beast, my battle wagon, nearly finished. That's the rust's just drying, and I've got to go over it and do some weathering and stuff. So yeah, so I like a good production line. This is the first thing I've done today though, so it's still quite early. But I have a small daughter, so the days don't necessarily go exactly how you want them to. But anyway, I digress. I'll crack on with this. I'll stop the video and we'll go into time lapse. And I'll speak to you folks in a little bit. Cool. Alright, so I've quickly popped back in here. So what I've done is I've trimmed the hood to fit this supercharger and top hat, Scott hat, they call them, I think. What I tend to do is try and tie the engine part in with the body, in with the interior, but it's too low, as in this will fall straight through. The fit's nice and tight though, as you can see I've just lost it in there. So what I have to do instead is either space it up with some plastic card, or yeah, that's far too low, so it sits right in there. I have to space it up with some plastic card, which won't take too long. It'll take a couple of seconds. Just stick a piece of rod underneath. 1 second. How high is that? What I'll do is I'll make like a little platform for it to sit on. You won't see it. Oh no, it's there. But and you'll all know it's there. But when the car's finished, you won't see it, which is ideal. So I mean, that's lost in that void now, but can't see that because I'm an idiot. I've got this gap at the front as well where the post goes through the interior. Just trying to do. There we go. And then before I send my activator for this, I thought I'd stop just to tell you about this so everyone can see. Oh, I'm so low. There's a little bit in there. The dregs. That'd be enough. So then let's make that platform a little bit higher. So it's still too low. My voice is going there as well. It's still sitting a little bit too low. Could have measured that. I've got calipers here. What does it? So sometimes my builds are a little bit quicker and a little bit slower than other times. Other times I'm really, really quick. Sometimes it'll take forever. Just depends what I've got to do. Right. I could have just stuck it on the bonnet, but I really don't like that aesthetic, so I said it doesn't have to be too accurate. As long as everything matches up and it doesn't impede that hole. So that's going to be tall enough for what I need. Push a bit of glue on it. Bring a bit of glue on the bottom here. I do go a bit ham with the glue, but then I can just rust hides your crimes, I think, in these. Also, it can't start smidging out everywhere. I can say it's rust. So even then, I've jacked that up. That's still too low. You know what I might do instead? I said I wouldn't do it, but I'm going to glue this flush to the bonnet. The bonnet's still got a hole cut out. You can still see a hole. See, there's still a hole. Just took a bit. Alright, so what that means is just here. Isn't quite wide enough. Yeah, that's still too low. So instead what I'm going to do rub it straight through, is if I can, should be able to do. It's not playing ball today. Cracked out a build yesterday in like less than an hour. Just the build, not the paint, obviously. I thought, you know, I'll video one today because it went so well yesterday. This one's already biting me and fighting me already. Such is life. The one I did yesterday as well, I videoed, and then I didn't like it. I didn't time lapse it properly. It was pissing me off, so I deleted it. Obviously, I want to get a video out this weekend. Cool. What I'll do with that, I'll stick a tiny square of plastic card on the top, just in case something pushes down and pushes the engine through. Won't lose the engine inside the body. That's another thing with doing things a certain way and not doing things a certain way. You can cut corners and stuff, but if I was going to give this to someone, or someone was going to buy this, and they push the engine through, they'd be pissed off that they spent money on it, even if it was a couple of months down the line from playing. So I try and make stuff sturdy, even if, there we go, the plastic card's got the bottom of it. Try and make stuff sturdy. That's what I wanted. Real card's actually probably about right. It's probably about centered. And see, I've also fired off the wing mirrors. Try and make stuff sturdy because otherwise it doesn't last. Right, back to the time lapse. I'll do this mesh and stuff. And that's the Maverick done. Like I say, not a very difficult one. It's more sticking stuff on. Drilling the hole and cutting the hole in the bonnet's the longest piece out of all of that. As you see, I haven't stripped this, I've just sanded it. I like the fact that you get a lot more texture, so I've got some shiny panels, hit it with a couple of different files. I've also dug some grooves and stuff in it, especially in the roof. Meshed all the windows, like I said, changed from the front set of wheels just to change the look. Little things like that make a bigger difference, I think, sometimes than mucking about with it. Obviously, big cars, big hacked up cars. Sorry, one sec. Sorry, needed a drink. Where I hack stuff up and cut backs off and cut hoods out and stuff. Yeah, they're all good, and but they take a bit of time. So for every one complete version like the pig, Beetle, which took me half a day just to build, there's always an easy one like this one, like Ronson that I've made recently, where I've literally just had a flamethrower, a little screen above the windscreen, some mesh, a piece of hose and a fuel tank, and then it's ready to go once it's painted. So yeah, that's going to have flames on it as well, I think. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, yeah, so for every one engine, front off, back off, etc., of crew members build, there's an easy build as well. Just that's how I keep the rapidity of building. That's how I can build so many cars so quickly and do commissions, and that's why when I sell them to people that I'm not too bothered about clearing out some, because I can build again. Anything that I've got I could build again. There's no parts that I've used that are super. I mean, there's a couple of castings I've used that are super rare. Like I've never seen one of these. And I'm putting a crew member in it, and the ones I put crew members in tend to be ones I keep for myself. That's a bit selfish, but that's how I like to think of it. So then we're on to this one. So the Maverick's done. I'll prime that and we'll do painting on that one. Now the Pile Driver, which sounds like a decent name. I might keep Pile Driver, I'm not sure. Things to do on this are a bit more in depth. I'll say cut the roll cage, fit the figure, so the figure's gonna be a bit fiddly, and the thing with that is it's in out until I get it right. drill or cut the headlights out. If I cut them out for saw, then the square bits on the back of these machine guns will slot straight in. They're the same size. So that'd be a quick win on that. That's a quick win there. This bit here in the cab is the longest bit on this. The wheel swap won't take very long at all. No mesh to do, which is cool. It's going to be open cockpit, open rider. It'll look pretty sweet when it's done. It's plastic, so I'm not going to file it. I might actually think that. The good thing about plastic is you can do it on metal as well with the file, but you can do divots and stuff on it. This might go fully silver, although saying that, I could do the interior black and the body silver, the wheels black. That actually might look pretty cool. It looks like Papagallo's like a proper made up car in Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior. That thing there, that looks cool because it's totally different to everything else. It's bright silver. It stands out because it is bright silver. So that's the cool thing about plastic here. I can chip and chip it up a bit more than you can with metal, with less effort than you can with metal. I've added a bit of texture to it, which I could keep on saying it's all about texture, but because it's riveted everywhere and it looks a bit different, if I did it all in silver, like my silver over black with a sponge, so it looks a bit like polished steel, and then did the engine black instead, because it's like, it almost looks like two LS's joined together. And all the coolings at the back, 4 exhausts. But yeah, so I'll do that. We'll go to time lapse and then I'll come back either when I'm sorting out the figure and I get to the fiddly bits. Like I say, I'm gonna have to cut his feet off, I think. Well, there's some pedals down there, believe it or not. These ones are always a bit fiddly to get apart. There's actually, it's a cool thing, the roll cage. There's actually 3 pedals there. You can see that there. The thing I've noticed with the figure is obviously he's too tall on the back side. There's a bit of a gap underneath his backside. I should be able to bend this though, so I might whip the pedals off, bend him so his legs are straight, and then pivot him at the hips a little bit more. And then the steering column's going to cover most of this, and obviously his arms, which I'm going to attach to the steering column, I'm going to cover most of this. But I want to be able to, if I do that before I cut the cage, I might be able to keep the cage as well. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, right, back to the time lapse. I thought I'd jump quickly back on the video again and talk about this bit here. So this is what happens sometimes. I've cut the steering column and the old steering wheel off, and the position the driver's in is actually further back than I thought. Sometimes the metal casting as well, you get a couple of gaps. So where I've got this arms gap, he's slightly wonky, but I actually quite like that. So what I found here is that he is straight. There we go. A good few mil off there, that gap. So what I'll do is I'll cut a piece of plastic rod to fit in between, and then I might cut a piece of plastic tube, then I can put it over this. Either or doesn't really make much difference to fit in between to bridge that gap. I want it to be as close as it can be, but then I also don't really want to glue. I want to still be able to remove the interior because I still want to be able to paint him and his legs and stuff. Otherwise you're trying to get a brush in there and it'll muck up the interior as well. So I'll cut a piece of plastic rod to fit that gap there between the 2 pieces. I'm going to do this is you normally use green stuff to gap fill, but I've found with this Loctite super glue and some activator rather than the gel super glue, I can fill these quite well and they stay smooth rather than muck around green stuff. Now it's my fault because I've glued him in this slightly wonky, but like I say, no biggie. Nothing there that being an adequate modeler, you can't fix. The key with the liquid, super glue in the Loctite, there we go. You can see that. It's to smash the activator on as quick as you can. So it does leave a bit of a rough texture on his skin, but because of the way I paint these Warboys skins, you're not really going to notice. Sorry, I always blow on my activator, I don't know why. Yeah, so with a coat over that, you're not necessarily won't notice. At the end of the day as well, it is a metal miniature. It is, just cut that off, I should have done it beforehand. Yeah, it is a metal miniature. It is in 20mm, 1/64 scale, 20mm, whatever you want to say. Yeah, and 20mm is a bit of a weird one because I keep seeing people saying about, oh, 1/72 scale figures, what they do. Well, yeah, but no. They will. Some of the smaller ones would do it a pinch. When you hit 1/72, as far as I was aware, you're closer to you're closer to like you're closer to 28mm than you are to 20mm. I'm talking about 28mm like heroic, not 28mm fantasy. So you're closer to like with your bolt action figures. You're a lot closer to, or even actually I've got some. I did a show and tell before, but yeah, you're closer to like size up like Spectre Miniatures makes some excellent like special forces figures, and Russian like Spetsnaz and GRU and stuff, but they're just slightly too tall. Like I've used them in pictures back in the past before. Obviously there was more and more people making them like North Star, etc. and Elheim. If I put a 28mm / 1/72 figure next to an Elheim 20mm, the scale difference is huge. One looks like Andre the Giant, the other one looks like Peter Dinklage. Do you know what I mean? The scale is huge. There's too much scale difference. So I like these 20mm ones. So people ask me, that's what I always say. I've got no affiliation to North Star. I just think that they do good sculpts. Mark Copperstan does good sculpts, so can't say better than that. So next thing to do, I've cut the roll cage as well because it was impeding me getting them in. So I'm going to mock that up. The same about the headlights. I'm just going to use my hobby saw, come down, cut them off and file it flat. Then we'll swap the rear wheels out for these off-road ones. They're slightly wider track, which doesn't really matter. I'll just glue the axles so they don't slide about, and they're about the same height. So although it looks like smaller, it may lower the back slightly, give that front a bit more of a rake up. We'll see. If it looks a bit crap, I'll find some other wheels. I've got loads of wheels. I've got some cars I got the other day off eBay that I need to, on Facebook, I need to take the wheels off Matchbox ones. I do like those Matchbox wheels. Anyway, waffling. So I cut the around the headlights and we'll crack on. So we've run into a snag, surprisingly enough, where I've glued these machine guns on, because where the wheels are and the bases I can't get the front on now. So, and that's obviously because I don't want to build it all. I'll keep the driver now, I want to be able to paint the interior and the driver separately. So what I'm going to do is I want to cut this bottom piece off as neat as I can and then attach it to the bottom here. So when it goes back together, it all slots straight back on again. Make it easier to take it off and on anyway. Obviously because the interior slots up and over, I have to be careful with stuff like that. So let's hook that, I'll cut that off, hook it on and I'll put the car together on time lapse. And now I've cut the front off for no reason because I'm an idiot. What I'm going to have to do is glue it all together, which makes painting a little bit harder, but not much else I can do about it, if I'm honest. If I want to get them machine guns, I do. Problem I have is this, and this sometimes happens, but you can get, is obviously it's hitting the wheels. And I could, oh, I'm so stupid sometimes. Why don't I just any other way apart from that. That's what happens. Right, so if the wheels weren't there, for example, oh, it still doesn't fit, you swine. Oh, you absolute swine. Okay, fine. Oh, we've done it now, haven't we? It's only kind of broken it. Well, I'm going to put it back together, glue it all back up. That was a royal pain in the backside. I haven't necessarily ruined the front because I used a scalpel rather than a saw, so it will fit back together. In fact, the fit's really, really tight. Once it's painted, you'll barely notice. Oh no, you'll know. So yeah, that cocked that up with the machine guns. They're just too tight. The space is too tight. I want those machine guns on the front though, so I'm going to do it. So yeah, cool. The car will have to go together as a whole, including the roll cage, because I can't put it on afterwards. And I'll paint it as such. It's a little bit fiddlier. It's still durable. So yeah, I'll do that now. What an idiot. Right then. That's done. Just had that, but that in time that's cut off. I said this the other day in a video for some reason. The phone keeps on cutting off. I didn't change the rear wheels in the end. I like the wheels because they fit really, really well on this. So it is a simple looking conversion or customization, just the headlights and the figure, but obviously the time taken compared to the Maverick, massive. Obviously, because I mucked up the front, as you can see, you can barely notice the front now. I'm going to quickly grab my turntable, change the camera angle, and we'll talk about these, and this will be the end of this video. I thought I'd do it as a two-part. I've done a lot of painting videos already, so and this has dragged on a little bit longer than I thought it would. But yeah, 2 cars, I think it's about an hour, including me rambling, so not too bad. Yeah, I'll change the angle quickly, and we'll just have a quick look at one turntable before I paint them. Okay, so here's the sledgehammer. Let's have a look quickly. Pile driver, I'll get it right one day. So. Pile driver, front machine guns, Warboy crew member. So you can see where I had to cut the cage off. The cage still looks good. Its head only just sticks above it. Made the steering column fit, etc. Set of lights there on the above the grill just to add some lights to it, just because I thought it needed something a bit there. But yeah, necessarily not an easy paint anymore because I've had to block the driver in, but not too bad. I can still get under the paintbrush and stuff, especially a fine detail one. So, and I paint the trousers mostly black anyway, so that shouldn't be too hard. I've got my tripods. I can't find my other tripod. I think I've left it in the garden or something. Anyway, that's something else. So yeah, there's that. And there's the Maverick. The mesh, damage with the file, etc. Wheel change just to mix it up a little bit. And twin like Maxim / Vickers style machine guns, and then the supercharger pointing out the bonnet. That came out really nice as well. I do obviously headlight details on that. Like a bit of a bright scheme on that. I want pretty silver and black. And that's it for this video. Like I say, that's annoying. Sometimes that happens. The casting doesn't go back together properly, but I haven't glued that one yet. So no, yeah. Sometimes it just adds to it a little bit as well. It's a little bit wonky donkey. Yeah, so the next video will be painting these. It won't be very long because paint jobs tend to take me as long on certain things. So other things take me ages, but the paint jobs I've got in mind for these are just going to be sponge paint jobs over black, so it shouldn't take too long at all. Thank you very much for watching.